हरिः ओम् नमः सर्वेभ्यः। अद्य 20-उत्तर-20सहस्रतमवर्षस्य जून् मासस्य 13 दिनाङ्के गीताप्रवेशस्य प्रथमभागस्य 48तमकक्षार्थं सर्वेभ्यः स्वागतम्। अग्रिमम् एकं वाक्यमस्ति आसीत् पुरायोध्यायां दशरथो नाम भूपतिः। अत्र पुनः प्रथमं वर्तते सन्धिविच्छेदः, इत्युक्ते पदानां पृथक् पृथक् पदलेखनम्। अत्र आसीत् पुरा अयोध्यायां दशरथः नाम भूपतिः। सो एवं तत्र 6 पदानि तत्र भवन्ति। इदानीं तत्र किं क्रियापदं वर्तते, द्वितीयं सोपानं किं क्रियापदं वर्तते, आसीत् इति क्रियापदम्। इदानीं तत्र आकाङ्क्षानुसारं तत्र प्रश्नाः पृच्छन्ते। तत्र कः आसीत् इति पृच्छामश्चेत् उत्तरं भवति भूपतिः आसीत् इति। अत्र भूपतिः आसीत् इति कः इत्यस्य उत्तरं भवति। अस्तु, अत्र कः आसीत् इति पृच्छामश्चेत् भूपतिः आसीत्। पुनः तत्र what else we can ask for Dasharatho Nama. So actually we have to ask some questions to link all of these. Basically we need to ask some questions for each of these words. So asit we cannot ask question because it's a kriya padam, and pura ayodhyayam dasharatha nama bhupatihi. So for all these things we have to ask some questions, so it gets related to the kriya padam in some manner. Okay, इदानीं भूपतिः अत्र दशरथो नाम, तत्र दशरथो नाम तत्र विशेषणं वर्तते। अतः विशेषणार्थं कीदृशप्रश्नं वयं पृच्छामः इत्युक्ते पुनः कः नाम भूपतिः आसीत् इति पृच्छामः। तदानीम् उत्तरं भवति दशरथः नाम इति उत्तरं भवति। दशरथः नाम भूपतिः आसीत् इति। अस्तु, so we have covered asit, dasharatho nama bhupati. Now left over words are like pura and ayodhyayam. So how do you link ayodhyayam? It's a place, it's in saptami, it's in the adhikarana karakam is there. So we will ask question like kasyam. We actually try to match with the same lingam as given here. So ayodhyayam, so kasyam asit. Or instead of if you are having difficulty in asking based on the lingam, the simple thing is kutra. So kutra asit. So ayodhyayam asit. Okay, for pura, so pura it actually says something related to the time, like purvam tatha artha bhavati. अतः कः कीदृश किं प्रश्नपदं तत्र उचितं भवति, कदा इति प्रष्टुं शक्यते। अतः कदा आसीत् इति पृच्छामश्चेत् पुरा आसीत्। Okay, so when we do this kind of questions and find answers, we have to always see the link is always connected to the kriya padam, either it's directly or indirectly. So when you say here pura, when you ask kada on the kriya padam, you directly get the answer pura, and when you ask kutra on the asit, you get the answer of ayodhyayam. Similarly, when you ask kaha, you get the answer of bhupatihi. And similarly on bhupati, if you ask kaha nama bhupatihi, if you ask then you will get dasharatha nama bhupati. So somehow you should see all the words in the sentence or the poem should get related to the kriya padam. That's a important task here. First of all, once you get this thing, then it's up to you how you want to rearrange these things according to your comfortable. Like in this case, you can actually write like pura ayodhyayam dasharatha nama bhupatihi asit. So maybe this is the way we actually speak in regular Sanskrit, like purvam grame mama mitram asit. So that's the way we actually speak the same way, whichever the krama you are comfortable with, we'll try to change that krama. But here the tatparyam and the final krama will remain the same, because it's an independent sentence. It is not linked to any context. So the tatparyam will remain the same, but in actual shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, the tatparyam will be little different, because that's where we really understand the actual intention of the shloka. Okay, so this is the way you actually try to get the meanings of the shloka. But the first task, important task, is split out everything. Then you join all of them and find the link to the corresponding kriya. Find the kriya and find the relationship with the kriya of other padams. That's the important task here. Once you are able to bring up this kind of a map, then it's easy for you to come up with the tatparyam or the padakrama. Okay, let's get into the next one. So asti Ganga nadyas tire shalmalitaru vishalaha. So this is a sentence. So actually, if you see the examples they are given, like they started with the simple examples and slowly they increase the complexity here. So now atra padachedaha bhavati asti punaha Ganga nadyaha tire shalmali taruhu vishalaha. Okay, but if you see when I split, I'm just splitting the words, but I'm not splitting the samasta padams. So Ganga nadyaha, so there Ganga nadi is the samasta padam. Tatra Ganga iti nadi iti vigraha vakyam. Tatra we are not actually splitting the samasta padams. We are just using the samasta padams, assuming that we already know the meaning of that. But in case if you have the trouble in knowing the meaning of Ganga nadi, then you have to see the what kind of samasa, and you try to apply the samasa rules and split them. So here in the first step we are not splitting the samasas, only splitting the sandhis. So asti Ganga nadyaha tire shalmali taruhu vishalaha. So there are 5 words here. So atra kriyapadam kim vartate? Asti iti kriyapadam. Okay, so now we will try to find out other words, how they are related here. So idanim kartru jnanartham kaha iti pruchamaha. Idi kaha iti pruchamaha, tatra shalmali taruhu asti. Kaha asti? Shalmali taruhu asti iti tatra kartrupadam bhavati. Punaha विशालः इति पश्यामः, तत्र शाल्मली तरुः पुनः विशालः, तत्र द्वयोः विभक्तिः समाना, द्वयोः लिङ्गं समानं, पुनः द्वयोः पुरुषः समानः वर्तते, अतः विशेषणविशेषभावः अनुमीयते तत्र. अतः विशालः इति प्रायशः विशालः इति शाल्मली तरोः तत्र विशेषणं भवेत्. अतः प्रश्नः यदि विशेषणविशेष्यभावः भवति, तत्र विशेष्यं शाल्मलीतरुः भवति, तन्निमित्तं कः इति प्रश्नं पृच्छामः. तथैव विशेषणनिमित्तं तत्र कीदृशशब्देन तत्र प्रश्नं पृच्छामः. अतः शाल्मलीतरोः विशेषणं वर्तते विशालः, अत्र कीदृशः शाल्मलीतरुः अस्ति इति पृच्छामः. कीदृशः शाल्मलीतरुः अस्ति? उत्तरं भवति विशालः शाल्मलीतरुः अस्ति इति. पुनः गङ्गानद्याः तीरे, प्रथमं तत्र तीरशब्देन तत्र अन्वयः भवति. प्रश्नः कथं भवति? तत्पूर्वं यदि विशालः इति वदामः चेत्, even though Vishala is identified through Shalmalitaruhu, but still it will have equal Anvaya as the Shalmalitaru with Asti verb. That's why I have just mentioned the outer line. It means that it has Anvaya with Asti verb, but it is indirectly identified through Shalmalitaru. That's what it means. But we never say that Kaha Asti, Vishalaha Asti. That's not the answer. Thus, Vishala is not directly identified. It's indirectly identified, but it will have a direct relationship with verb. So that's why this dotted line I have shown here. अस्तु, इदानीं अग्रिमप्रश्नः भवति, कुत्र अस्ति? इत्यस्य प्रश्नम् उत्तरं भवति तीरे अस्ति इति उत्तरं भवति. Okay, so now the next question, the Ganga Nadyah. So Ganga Nadyah, how it is related to the sentence. So on which word, if you ask on which word, if you ask which question on which word, you will get the answer as Ganga Nadyah. Okay, so Ganga Nadyah is a Shashti. As we know in the earlier Karaka Prakaram saying that the Shashti will not have direct relationship generally with the verb. So it will generally have a relationship with other Karaka padams. So here Ganga Nadyah Tira means it's related to Tira. So you will be asking the question against Tira, saying that Kasyaha Tire. It's like a Saptami question. So Kasyaha Tire oh, so there's some spelling mistake in the middle. It's asti. So Kasyaha Tire asti. If you ask that way, you will get the answer like Ganga Nadyah Tire. So now if you see, all the words are mapped and all are actually linked with the asti kriya padam in some manner. So here the Ganga Nadyah is not directly linked, it doesn't have direct anvaya with asti, but still through Tira it has some anvaya. So like this, each and every padam in the shloka should have some anvaya, some relationship or some relationship with the verb. So now kramena tatra yojanam bhavati. So in whatever way you are comfortable, you will try to rearrange the sentences. So it will become like Ganga Nadyah Tire Vishalaha Shalmali Taruhu Asti. So this is the way you write the final sentence. So any questions here?
नमस्ते महोदय. अन्वयम् एव सरलमेव अस्ति, पुनः तात्पर्यं वक्तुं कथं भवति? कदाचित् अन्वयमेव सरलम्.
No, if it is अन्वय saralam, you can write the same thing in Tatparyam. Tatparyam is the same, what you can understand. So basically, when you read Tatparyam, without reading the previous or the next shloka, you should be able to understand the meaning. So basically, a concise and understandable version of the shloka is Tatparyam. Or maybe what is the actual intent or actual meaning intended by the shloka.
Tatparyam इत्युक्ते विस्तीर्णं भवितव्यं.
Vistirnam iti na, but you have to explain what is the intention of the shloka. Okay, there may be some literal meaning, but there may be again a real meaning behind the same things, right? So you have to write the real meaning in the Tatparya. So maybe we will see some examples now. We have a lot of examples in the Bhagavad Gita. But in the context here, like these are the very simple sentences. Here the Tatparyam plus the Krama will be no. If you want, if they ask for the Tatparyam, we repeat the same thing. There is no issue here.
Yes. Mahoday, but often here these sentences are all simple sentences. But when we come to these Bhagavad Gita shloka, it's very difficult for us to know the meaning of the shloka and arrive at what Tatparyam unless we have studied the shloka before.
Actually it has a it requires actually combination of few things, like you should have a previous knowledge of that few words used in the shloka, and you should also know the context of the shloka, and you should also have some background of the subject in which the shloka is running through.
What happens is in the Gita Pravesha question paper, for Anvaya they give some shloka from Bhagavad Gita and some another general some shloka they give. So we have to be very familiar. Suddenly some shloka from the Bhagavad Gita which they are giving and ask us to do the Anvaya Rachna, it becomes very difficult.
Yeah, that would be difficult actually. Definitely for beginners, if you see suddenly some shloka, it will be difficult. So unless you do some analysis, and it's about like it's just like that actually. As if you have more practice and if you have more shlokas, if you read it, it becomes little easier. If you are, it's completely based on your experience actually, I would say.
Yes, so we have to go.
But for the exams, do you know that they will ask from only any particular chapter or something?
Because I have got one question paper. Yeah. They asked some from Bhagavad Gita, like they've asked one shloka will be Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kamaha Dvandrair Vimuktaha Sukha Dukta Sangyai Gachantya Mudaha Padamavyayam Satya. This is one shloka which they given. This is from the Gita. And then they have given one general shloka like Kavya Shastra Vinodena Kalo Gachati Dhimatam Yasanena Tu Murthanam Nidriya Kalahenava. This at least, I mean, we have come across it earlier, we can write. But suppose this is also not known to us earlier, then to write the Anvaya and the Tatparyam might be a bit difficult, I think.
I would say this comes only with the practice and experience. The more you practice, it becomes easier for you. And generally, this kind of pada vibhaga generally becomes easy when you know more vocabulary, and if you know more different forms of the kriya padams, then it becomes easier for you. I think it, in my view, it generally comes with the practice. This one.
Just wanted to tell what sort of question we get in the question.
Oh, okay. But here in Bangalore, it doesn't happen like that. Even if it happens, in some cases they say that questions will be asked from the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita like that. But actually here in Bangalore, I would say they ask what is there in the book first of all, and these Bhagavad Gita shlokas they will not give, because there is a separate exam again for the 4th level. I think for Chennai we don't have that, I guess. I think that's why they try to mix that as well, maybe here.
So we have to go through all the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. So, I mean, if we have to answer this particular question, maybe.
Ideally, yes.
Unless the second one is easy.
Easy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so shall we move on?
I just wanted to share how it is in the question paper.
Oh, okay. But this I was not aware of it actually. So, thank you.
अस्तु हरि ओं महोदय अहमपि सामान्यप्रश्नः आसीत् तदनन्तरं समासः प्रति don't we have to split the samasa when we do the rachana so that when we do the tatparyam we'll get the correct formation? For that, should we take one step as the samasa, splitting the samasas also?
Yeah, that's the internal step which you will be doing internally. Like if you don't understand what is Ganga Nadi, then you may have to split it.
Yeah, but in the case of some other word, let us say that it's a much bigger word, then at that time
you can do that actually. Samasa vichcheda, samasa vigraha vakyam you can write actually.
We'll have to add that as a step before we proceed to the rachana part.
Right, actually that happens this way, like first you do the sandhi vichcheda, you identify each word, and the next immediate step is to understand the meaning of each word. Like if you are not able to understand due to some samasa, immediately do the samasa, reversal of the samasa, and you identify the meaning. Then after that you go for the kriya anveshanam and the remaining steps. After you split the words, if you don't get the meaning of the word, then you have to look for the dictionary to get the meaning, or if it is a samasa, try to split it and understand the meaning. So if you know the meaning, then it becomes easier to write this kind of chart and ask the question.
So for all this Anvaya Rachana, like we were talking with Maitri, the thing is that unless you understand you have a very good vocabulary and unless you have knowledge of the word and its meaning, it becomes very difficult to do the sloka anvayam of a unknown text or unknown verse.
Exactly. Yes. But it is unlike other languages. It is something really very difficult actually in few contexts actually. In other languages at least we have some kind of easier way.
And dual meanings are also there for some words, isn't it, sir?
Yes, yes. So all these things will actually have complexity. Yes.
Astu Mahoday. Dhanyawad.
Astu. So the next one is Yanti Gopalaka Sarve Dhenus Charayatum Manam. So again the padani Yanti Gopalakaha Sarve Dhenuhu Charayatum Vanam. Okay, so now अत्र क्रियापदं किं भवति यान्ति इति क्रियापदं but you may think that charayatam is a kriyapadam but that's not a kriyapadam. Kriyapadam is one which has proper lakara usage, lakara form. So yanti is the actual proper lat lakara form, so it becomes the kriyapadam here. So yanti atra kaha yanti or ke yanti, if you ask that kind of question, gopalakaha yanti punaha. So gopalakaha and sarve, there is some visheshna visheshya bhava. So again we will ask question with kidrisha. So kidrishaha gopalakaha sarve gopalakaha. So again the red line here shows the visheshna visheshya bhava, and when you get the survey answer, it again gets indirect relationship with the kriyapadam. And again kimartham. So now you get the tumunanta. For any tumun pratyaya form, you will be asking this kimartham as a question. So kimartham yanti charayatum yanti. Punaha kaha charayatum. So dhenuhu charayatum. Punaha kuttara yanti vanam yanti. So here if you see, Dhenuhu is a karma padam, Ditiya Bhakti, but still it will not have direct anvaya with yanti. That's because it is the karma padam for charayatum word. Okay, and charayatum is linked with yanti with some actually charayatum is linked with yanti and dhenuhu is linked with connected with charayatum. So this is the way that dhenuhu is connected. So when you say Ditiya Bhakti, it's not always connected to the yanti or main kriya. So again the tatparyam will be sarve gopalakaha dhenuhu charayatum vanam yanti iti artha bhavati. Astu. So these are the few examples they are given in the book. So there is some note here. Etesham udaharananam avalokanena bhavantah idani अन्वय रचनां कर्तुं कीदृशाः प्रश्नाः करणीयाः इति ज्ञातवन्तः. ते एव अंशाः अत्र संगृहीताः सन्ति. कर्तृपदं कर्मपदं वा उद्दिश्य कीदृशः इति प्रश्नः क्रियते चेत् विशेषणपदस्य ज्ञानं भवति. यथा कीदृशः शाल्मलीतरुः विशालः इति उत्तरं. तथैव सप्तमविभक्तिपदानां ज्ञानाय कुत्र इति प्रश्नः करणीयः. शाल्मलीतरुः कुत्र आसीत्? गङ्गानद्याः तीरे. पुनः कालसमयसूचकानां पदानां ज्ञानाय कदा इति प्रश्नः करणीयः. दशरथो नाम राजा कदा आसीत्? पुरा आसीत् इति उत्तरम्. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching this video online. For any queries or if you want to interact with teachers or course students, log into forum.sanskrit.today and subscribe to this channel sanskrit.today to watch more videos like this. Share this video with your friends and interested people or group, and make use of the comment section if you have any queries or feedback or suggestions about this session or the series. And finally, click on the like button of this video. Thank you. Thanks for watching this video online. Let us meet in the next session. Dhanyawadaha.